People might say over here in the United Kingdom, literally things are going from bad to worse, and they could be right, of course, and many are suggesting it's all down to this woman, Rachel Reeves, the current Chancellor of the Exchequer. Now, Rachel, as you know, just seemingly has clearly no idea what she's doing. And this isn't just throwing that out there, her herself is basically calling upon many of the different people behind the scenes, again, I have to say allegedly, to advise her. Now, it would be simpler, wouldn't it, to replace the Chancellor of the Exchequer? And when you think about it, it would make perfect sense. But you see, the current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, is frightened to death of another episode like this. Remember this, where she burst into tears in the House of Commons in front of the world and on television screens for the world to see. Now, the story went that it was a personal matter and she was just upset. Not true. Behind the scenes, this was a full showdown of exactly where the economy was going. Now, what's recently interesting is the fact that Rachel herself is now blaming the advent of Brexit, and this is the reason why we've now got this black hole. Nothing to do with her ineptitude. But here's where it gets even more difficult for her to climb out from, because just today the Pizza Hut restaurant chain have announced that they're closing 68 restaurants in the United Kingdom. Morrison's supermarket are closing down over 103 stores. That's masses of people in the retail and hospitality sector in one day. There are many, many more jobs going, particularly in the new year. But consequently, her and the team, if you remember, like Yvette Cooper, decided they were going to attack nail bars and other variants like that. Nothing to do, of course, with all the illegal immigrants that are working without paying tax, living in taxpayer-funded hotels with free accommodation, free laundry, free food, free heating, free TV, free clothing. You get the picture. Behind the scenes, though, even this is now being ignored. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome one and all, as ever, to our channel. I hope you're keeping well. Nice to have your company. When you come to London, you do look at things, and I've often said this to many of the chums, that, be careful, because what you think is good value or is a tourist thing, not necessarily. And I've often said sometimes you're just better off walking from place to place. I learned that lesson many years ago when I first came to London. I had no idea just how close Piccadilly Circus was to Leicester Square. Meanwhile, you spend the money going on the tube, right? Then you think, is this it? 2 seconds away? Now, this is the problem that you have. As I say, there are so many people now working illegally over here in the United Kingdom. And the bigger problem that you have with that is clearly the people that are in charge are not going after these tax avoiding people. People like this on Westminster Bridge. That's right, these are the people that run the rickshaw trade. And as you can see, they're clamouring all over the bridge, and you can find them even now littering up the place with their glaring music and lights outside tourist heavens like Buckingham Palace and Selfridges department store. But it's this that's more interesting. Look at the prices, right? And not only that, and I've mentioned this before, be very, very careful how you pay these people, if you want to. For instance, Westminster Bridge is literally 2 minutes away from the Houses of Parliament. And as you can see from this list, it's £20 per person just to turn the rickshaw around and take you literally round the corner. £40 for 2 people, right? Piccadilly Circus, even more expensive. Waterloo, across the bridge, even more expensive. And more encouragingly, they want you to pay hard cash if possible. Doesn't really matter though if you're going to use your credit card, because a lot of the time, and I would not recommend this, as I mentioned in a previous video, their video scanner, their sort of card scanners are very much, how shall we say, worrying if you're not used to how it works, right? They can rip into your card very, very quickly. I would recommend nobody taking a rickshaw, cash or credit card. But where does this fit in with the government? Well, when I contacted Westminster Council, they said they've clamped down on the illegal rickshaws and they've issued fines. Wonderful. When I asked the rickshaw people, yes, they'd had fines. No, they're not paying them because they either give fake names or, more importantly, nobody chases them up for that. Westminster Council, that's on you. Of course, when you look at somebody like Rachel Reeves, she's just carrying on, wishing to place more and more tax on people, while the real hard-working people that truly need their jobs, in the likes of Morrison's and Pizza Hut, well, they're just cast aside. Meanwhile, this level of society can not only live rent-free and enjoy all the perks rent-free, but more importantly, even their earnings are rent-free. How about Rachel Reeves looking into something like this? When you tot it up, believe me, this is a colossal amount of money every year that's slipping through the Chancellor's fingers. I'd love to know what you think to this particular story as ever in the comments below. Neil Shawn in the very heart of London.